So I kind of think that's something from God, just telling me, hey, you're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to, do your own thing,
Hmm.
make something out of it. Um, and I think that's just kind of how I've been finding my own way in life.
Yeah, you have to find your path, and sometimes getting the door closed in your face uh helps you to get the wood to create your own table, and that's how I feel about it. Like, oh no,
Yup.
they don't get it. It's okay. We get
And I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Whew, we going in it. Now just kidding.
it.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them, and he's one of my favorite men to come outside.
That entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
All right, so my guest of honor wears many hats, but her greatest accomplishment in life is being a wife and a mother of three. She's a woman that believes in bettering herself and striving for excellence. So she went back to school to earn her Bachelors of Arts degree, and she currently serves as an entrepreneur in the real estate field. She's not only running her household, but she's also working to help other families find a place to call home. She's a positive light and one of the sincerest souls I know. Today, my guest of honor is Kayla Lopez. How you doing?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well, thank you.
No problem. I'm happy that you came on. I feel like you will be able to like reach a lot of people with your story and like everything that you've gone through. And so I'm excited that you accepted.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for having me, and hopefully, I'll be able to inspire, whoever's watching. Maybe give a little bit of advice of, everything I've been through. So,
Yes, ma'am. So how has this pandemic been for you so far?
um, well, it caused a lot of changes. First of all, like I guess like many people, through this pandemic, the last 2 years, I left my job. I had to change. I did homeschooling with my kids last year, so
Woo.
all year, yeah. So I was just home with them. We did homeschool, and we had some really great days, and then we had some not so fun days. So it was difficult, and I had two, so two in school and then a toddler. So
Wow.
yeah, and so really, I started just going into real estate, trying to do my own thing because I didn't want to go back to the 9 to 5 and you know um, not being home with my toddler who's not in school yet. So
Well, what made you choose real estate though? Like what is it about real estate that makes you happy?
well, actually, it was my husband who brought it up to me.
Mhm.
He's always my biggest supporter. He knew I didn't want to go back to a 9 to 5. I kind of wanted to do my own thing and, set my own schedule. He knows me very well. And so he was like, he's like, hey, take a look at this. I think it'd be great for you. You can set your own schedule. You can still be with Gabriel, who's my toddler. He's 3 years old.
No.
And, you can be your own boss. He's like, you've done things like this before. And he's like, I think you'll be really great at it. So,
Thank God
so
for the husband.
yes, yes. He brought it up to me, and um, like I said, he's always he knows me best, and he knows like what I want and what I don't want, and he thought it'd be perfect for me. So I looked into it, and so that's kind of what I've been doing, this past year.
So what does it take to get into real estate? Like, is there licenses? Like, what does it take to get into real estate?
Um, well, it depends on what you want to do. Yeah, you you do need a real estate license, for selling homes. If you're doing wholesaling, you don't need a license here in the state of Texas.
Oh, that's
Um,
good to know.
yeah, yeah. So kind of like figure out what route you want to take, and then figure out if you need that license or not.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
so coming into entrepreneurship, like just your journey to get to it. I know that you said your husband kind of showed you the way a little bit when it comes to this field, but
Mhm.
like what was the journey to you becoming an entrepreneur? Because some of us weren't able to like be exposed to that early on. So
Mhm.
what was your experience with entrepreneurship before you became one?
I would say it was very different. I grew up with the mindset of you had to have a career that had a title to it.
Mhm.
You needed to be a doctor, a policeman, a firefighter, a teacher, something that has a title, a lawyer. And so I grew up with that mindset, that that's what I needed to do. That's what I needed to be. And it was a very difficult, long path because I thought I knew what I wanted. I got into college. Then I was like, you know what? I don't know what I want. What I
Mhm.
had been saying all my years since I was a child is I wanted to be a doctor. I get into college. I start seeing other career paths, and then kind of like don't know what to do, but which way to follow. But I
Mhm.
kind of still had that mentality about being in the medical field. Um, Starting college as a biology major, and yeah, it was very hard, and I didn't have the mindset at that time to be a biology major.
It's a real
I was
major.
Yeah, it's a real major, and I was not focused. I had a lot of other things in mind, or just going out, socializing, being away from home, and so it was just I didn't have that mindset to be the biology major. And so once that happened, I knew I had to change fields, and then that's kind of where I got lost a little bit on what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
Um, Shortly after I got married, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick to the medical thing. That's what I had in my mind the whole time. And so while I was going to UNT, I decided to also enroll as a medical assistant. So I
Mhm.
was going to both schools, at once, while being married and already having our first child. So
Whew.
yeah, and it got tough. It got tough after we got married and started having kids. And I did get my medical assistant license. I finished that part of school. But having that first kid, or actually, I was pregnant at the time. I couldn't do. I had to eventually drop out of UNT because
Mhm.
I was doing UNT. I was doing the medical assisting in school, and working full time, and I couldn't do it all. And so I kind of stopped going to UNT for many years. I wouldn't return for many years, you know. Um, but still, I had that medical assistant license. I started working in the medical field, and um, I really wanted to be more one-on-one with people. And I
Mhm.
kept getting pushed with uh, insurance and billing and filing paperwork, and that's what I realized. Like, this is not what I wanted to do. This is not what I signed up for, kind of.
Mhm.
And so there is there I got lost again. Like, what is it that I want to do? And after time already being married and starting my family, I just started getting, whatever jobs came available, for quite a while until I finally started doing this entrepreneurship.
See, look, I'm happy that you told them that when you went to college, you thought you wanted to do one thing and then you shifted because it
Hmm.
is completely normal to switch your major like 30,000 times because when you go to school, it's kind of like you haven't really been exposed to anything until you came to college or
Yeah.
until you move away from home or just get out of your element.
Hmm.
So I'm so glad you let them know that look, it's not always like black and white. Like it's not always that clear.
Yeah.
So because a lot of people think that it is.
Yeah, and I think that's what we go into thinking too, that everybody needs to have their career mindset, like by the time they finish school, and then you get, you know, um, you go to college in a different town, a different state, and then you see all these new possibilities opening up for you, and
Mhm.
then I think it's a real battle within yourself, like, oh no, I wanted to do this, but is it okay if I change my mind,
Yeah,
or and I think that was like the internal struggle I had with myself for a long time,
yeah,
um, that is it okay to change your mind? You know, is it okay that it's you're going down a road that was not expected of you from your family, from your peers, friends or whatnot.
yeah. That's a big thing, because we're '80s babies. So
Yes.
we weren't only getting it at home, we were getting it at school. Like college is the way, and you gotta
Mm-hmm.
choose this now, and like know everything right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me a little bit about your background when it comes to like how you were raised and how that may have played a role in your selection process?
Yeah, I was raised. I was fortunate, to have my mom and my dad. Um, and my mom, she was born in Texas, but she grew up in Oklahoma. She had gone to college only 1 or 2 years, and then just never finished and didn't continue.
Mhm.
Um, and then my dad actually came from Mexico as a young boy, 14 years old. And he came back at 16 years old, and he never had more than maybe a first grade education. He didn't finish grade school, middle school, high school, any of that. He maybe only went like kindergarten, first grade, and maybe that was it. So being um, once he got his citizenship over here, and um, that was just something that was really pushed onto me. Like, you have to go to college.
Yeah.
My dad, he sacrificed all these years working hard in construction, day and night, and my mom being here, but never um, didn't have the funds, didn't have anybody help her to go to college. So that was really pushed onto me. That you have to go to college. And like you said, we're the 80s babies, that was expected of us,
Mhm.
everybody can go to college, that's the dream, that's the possibilities that, were offered to us. And that was my mindset growing up, and I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful for that. I understand and I appreciate everything my parents did. But at the same time, um, well, I was going to say, I decided to go back to school eventually, to get my bachelor's after my kids started going to school, because
Mhm.
I still, as an adult, I still had that mindset that you needed to have a degree if you wanted to be somebody, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, and that was just a few years back, I started going back, I think 2015, graduated 2017, so it's been a few years.
Mhm.
And so now I have my degree and I'm not even using it, you know? So, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel very, I kind of did it for my parents, went back to school for my parents so they can, finally get that off their, mentality, like try to, for them to say like, yeah, my kids, went to college, they had a degree,
Yeah.
you know, um, my sister graduated from college the very next year. We're 9 years apart. So that tells you how long it took me to finally go back to school and finish. Um, but it was kind of for like myself to, to be like, yeah, I have a degree. Um, and then comes the part, where I think, oh man, I have my degree and I'm not doing nothing with it.
Mhm. That's the other side
And
of it.
that's the other side of it. Yes. Like, I'm proud I have a degree. And then comes the shame, like, well, man, I put all those years, I'm, you know, $80,000 in debt or whatnot,
Yep.
um, and I'm not doing anything with it.
Right.
Like, you know, and that's something um to struggle with also, I had to get it out of my mentality, um, that, I mean, it's okay, yeah, I had a degree. It's okay if I choose something different, choose something for myself. Um, and so that's kind of how I feel about that. I feel like it was kind of pushed on us, and now all these students are in debt.
Oh yeah.
All the people in their 30s, basically mid 30s. We're all in debt. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because they didn't tell us that part. And that's what
yeah,
upsets me because it's like they pushed school, but they never said that you're not guaranteed a job, you're not guaranteed positions, you're not guaranteed to make a certain amount of money. Like all it is
yeah.
is I feel like it's a ticket to me. Like
Mhm.
nah, I can't say that for everyone, but I do believe that I feel like I could have made it without college.
Yeah,
Um I
yeah,
I do feel like I could have made it without college, but I do feel like God allowed me to go to college to learn the language. if that makes sense,
Yeah,
to learn
right,
how to
right.
coexist with other people and learn the language. But we are definitely in debt. Like
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
we're definitely in depth. Yeah, yeah.
That's why I want
And
them to know that. Like you gotta know that if you don't have a trust fund or your parents don't have a college fund ready for you, you have to work 10 times as hard to get scholarships so that you won't be,
yeah,
overflowing in like that because
hmm
it's very frustrating.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And I think I kind of felt like my husband was right all along. We've been married 13 years now, and he keeps,
Wow, that's a
yeah,
blessing.
yes, yes, it is. Yeah, we got married young, so got married at 20, and so yeah, we've been 13 years, going strong. Um, but he kept telling me, well, you can do this, or he kept showing me, look at these people who work these jobs, and they don't have to have a degree, and they make this much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many jobs out there available where you don't need a degree. You just need to know how to work, that
Skills.
that particular, yeah, skills, certain
Yep.
skills that are not taught in college,
Yep.
that are not told to people. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know. I think the whole push for college, like, overshadows everything. Where you're just stuck in that mentality, and you're not able to see, the other possibilities, when it comes to jobs.
Yep. And that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Because I want you to know that you have
Mhm.
options. There's so many options. Like,
Yes.
especially now with the internet, like you can make unlimited amounts of money being yourself and creating content and just being you. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize that once you finish school, once you finish doing whatever it is, you plan to do, there's still always ways to make money multiple ways. You don't have to make it one way. You can have
Yeah.
multiple streams of income, and it's okay to have
Yeah.
multiple streams.
Exactly.
Yes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about like your identity and how you feel like who you feel like you are now. Like who is Kayla now?
Oh man. Who is Kayla now? I think just, being a mother, being a wife. I think that's also something that society doesn't put enough positivity to.
Hmm.
Um, if you're not working, what are you doing? You're just at home with your kids, or
You still working.
you're still working. Yeah, you're still working. Trying to bring up decent human beings,
Yeah.
caring for them, and you know, so it's that I think that's a major role that I play right now, is being a mother, teaching them, how to be good people, um, to grow up strong and independent. And that's something that my husband and I, we both tell our children. We emphasize a lot that, yes, we would like them to go to school, to continue after high school.
Hmm.
But if that's not what you want to do, and you feel like you really want to do this or really want to do that, more like follow your passion.
Yeah.
Do what you want, and the money will come. Say if you want to do crafts or workshops, or whatever your passion is, even like you said, YouTube, the money will come one way
Yeah.
or another, if you have your mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that plays, I think that's something I struggled with in school a lot as a young, person, that um that's what I wanted to do, have a family, have my kids, um, and that was very difficult for me to think, or to maneuver myself around, and
Yeah.
still feel like I'm a successful person.
Okay, let's touch on that really quick about the definition of success because I think a lot of people feel like success is being financially stable, like being rich actually. They feel like it's just being rich.
Hmm.
Um and I think a lot of people don't realize that success is defined by the individual and not by society. And
Right.
so I wanted to ask you, how do you define success? Because it that really is important. If you can't define success for yourself, you're going to struggle a lot when it comes to
Mhm.
navigating this crazy world because you're going to always feel like you're not doing enough.
Right,
So,
right.
so how do you
And
define it?
yeah, and and I don't know if this will be helpful for whoever's watching or not, but I still struggle with that to this day,
Hmm.
because society tells you one thing, and but I feel very, very successful, like just being a mom, just being a
Yeah.
wife to my husband, especially like how you were congratulating me earlier about me married 13 years. Yeah, because it's not something that's so common anymore,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know, people divorce so quickly. Um, and I was lucky to find my husband or blessed, more like
Hmm.
blessed to find my husband. And and it's not been easy. Marriage isn't easy. You can love the person and then be mad at them, all the same, and then just, you have to learn how to work it out,
True.
um, yeah, communicate. And there's so many skills, just being a husband and a wife, communication, endurance, uh, handling your financials together. So,
Hmm.
I mean, and it's things, people don't talk about, but it's important to be able to share your skills with your spouse, and to be able to grow together, and lift each other up. I think that's something that's really strong with the both of us is like, he's down and, I'm picking him up. I'm down, um, whether it's self-esteem or job or the kids or whatever. And he's always there to pick me up, and say it's okay. And basically hold up the fort. So, so it's a two-way street, and I think that's the problem with so many, especially in our generation, of
Yeah.
being able to stay married, and not divorce
It's
is those skills, those critical skills that are needed in a marriage.
yeah, it's needed in a marriage and as an individual, like in general,
Hmm.
because I mean, I have this understanding of I believe that, each individual has to be themselves 100%. Like, how they
Yeah,
say bring 50-50, I feel like it's 100-100.
yeah,
Like,
definitely,
you try to
definitely.
be the best version of yourself and for your spouse. So
Hmm.
when you take care of you, that in turn help you take care of the other person because you're full.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people get married for the wrong reasons. So that's
Yeah,
why it's a lot easier to be like, bye, like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
out. Like
Like
I'm
this ain't working, so let's just leave. And no, no, you have to work on it. You have to work.
You ain't even
Um,
tried to work on it.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, a lot of people don't. They don't try to work on it. They just, oh, it's not working for me. Let me go move on to the next.
Man, that's crazy. That's it. That's what terrifies me. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I can't do it. Not right
Yeah,
now. Not
well,
right now.
not right
But
now. Yeah.
but it's beautiful. Like I love to see connection. I love to see unity like across the board. It's
Hmm.
beautiful to me. Um,
Yeah.
so when you said 13 years, I was like, ooh, they in the double digits and they still kicking. This is
Yes.
great.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
We'll be 14 in April. So
Wow. That
yeah.
congratulations on that for real.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and you mentioned something earlier about finances, and like I know that budgeting is a huge thing that a lot of kids don't do. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I want to know if you could tell us a little bit about how you budget or manage like your household because you are literally doing y'all are doing it with your
Hmm.
kids and just trying to keep up everything. So what are some tips on budgeting or keeping the finances
Hmm.
flowing right?
Oh man, I have to tell you, we probably did a lot of growing up this past few years, couple years. We did, because that is something we really struggled with too.
Hmm.
Definitely struggled, and I think that's something that's not taught to our kids in high school, our kids in college. Is financial, how to handle your finances.
Hmm.
Mm. I was like, that is such a major part, in everyone's lives, and it's
Yeah.
not being taught to us. It's not, where was that class to help me, know how to pay my bills, how to manage my money. Hey, put a little in savings. um, I think we all could have done with a class on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, it's been difficult. It's been a ride. We live pretty much paycheck to paycheck, and yeah, now that we're hoping to get out of that, we feel like we've done a lot of growing up, even in the past few years,
Yeah.
finally managing our finances and saying no, we don't need to have the newest shoes or the newest phone, or we're okay the way we are, and just put a little bit in savings for emergencies,
Yeah.
um, yeah, especially with 3 kids, there's always something going on,
Right.
so um, I think that's another big area where I feel like, I don't want to say like we're fooled, but we've been, um, neglected in that area, of
Mhm.
being taught in that area on
Yeah.
on how to handle that.
That's true. I feel like sometimes that's by design because a lot of people don't want you to know how to manage your finances because
Yes.
once we're fiscally responsible and we're actually gaining ground, some people don't like that. So I feel like
Yes.
they're not necessarily going to teach that. You're going to have to seek that information out and really be disciplined enough to be like, I want these goals, this is what I have to do to get to that goal, right?
Yeah.
So
And that's definitely something that we aren't taught. And now that you mentioned that, I wonder, because me and you, we go way back.
we
We're
do.
from the same area. We grew up in the same neighborhoods. Um, were people being taught that, and maybe more financially stable areas? Like were some kids taught that and others not?
Yeah, they were.
Depending on geography,
Yeah.
and I hate to say it, even race, geography, race, financial areas, were they being taught that? And then us, who's from the city, from the neighborhoods we grew up in, we were not taught,
Mm-mm.
it kind of keeps us stuck in that same area, stuck in
Yep.
those same jobs, not being able to grow financially or economically,
They're definitely taught. I can tell you that from me working as a nanny. I've worked with all different cultures, all different ages, and I know kids that are like 6 years old telling me like, Miss Katrina, I got $50 for wait, no, not 50. He said, Miss Katrina, I got $500 for my birthday, but I can't touch it because it's in stocks.
Wow.
And the fact that he's that age, he knows that.
Knows what
That's
stocks are.
exactly. He knows what stocks are.
Hmm.
He know what Roth IRAs are. Like he knows
Man.
terminology that uh, I didn't know until like literally, if I'm being honest, 2 years ago.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm 34, so 32 is when I learned
Yes.
about. It was always taboo for us. Like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
not putting my money in there because I can't see it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
there's so many different ways to learn about these things, and like the number one way I feel like students and people can learn is by going on social media and following people who are talking about it. It's a lot
Yes.
easier now because we have access. Like the
Yeah.
internet just busted this thing wide open. Like
Right. Yes.
they
Yes. I
can't hide it no
completely
more.
agree.
They
Yeah.
can't hide it no more. We know the secrets now.
Yeah.
Although we're starting late, it's okay. As long as you get started and try to, uh further the movement. I think it's dope that kids can really just go on social media and be like, I'm gonna follow this person and listen, and then do my own research
Yes.
based on what they're
Yes.
talking about. So that's how y'all do it,
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And I'm in the same boat as you. I started finally investing this past year. I guess with COVID, you're on the computer looking at certain things, and you start, this pops up, and then you're like, oh well, what are they talking about?
Hmm.
Investing how? And they, so easy to just look up, oh, investing, and find some YouTuber who has millions of views, and then
Yep.
just start following them, listen to what they say, and start
Yep.
learning about it. And things I wasn't talking about 2 years ago, I'm already into investing,
Hmm.
saving, learning the stocks, learning how companies grow, and that's something that I wouldn't have even thought about a couple years ago. And why, especially as being minority,
Hmm.
being in the minority, that is just something that, like, nobody really knows about, nobody really talks about, and
Yep.
we're definitely not taught about, or like you say, that even the terminology is unfamiliar to us.
Yeah. Until
You
you
know?
get exposed to it. I always say
Hmm.
exposure leads to expansion. And
Yeah.
I think our high school did a very good job of exposing us to a lot of things. For y'all that don't know, we went to Trimble Tech, and Trimble Tech had different majors. We were doing that before we went to college.
Hmm.
You had to choose a major, and then you actually got experience, and you got to learn a trade before you graduated. And so I feel like going to tech was a blessing because we were exposed to so many different
Hmm.
things. So we could literally be like, I think I ought to gravitate to that, and I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a lot of kids don't even get that exposure these
Right.
days. Um, but I am grateful I went to Trimble Tech so I could like at least dibble and dabble in different things and find out what
Hmm.
makes me me. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm saying all that to say that if you don't know what you want to do, you need to just try things. The good thing about being young is you can try things, and if you fail,
Hmm.
it's okay to fail at times. Like that's how you learn, and that's how you figure out who you are and what you like by
Right.
trying different stuff. So when you say that you went and tried different jobs and did whatever you could to like as it came to you, that's actually a good thing because it allows you to figure out what you didn't like and what you liked and like what you're not gonna do.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I think with the whole career thing, I finally learned with myself is that I don't first of all, I want to pick my own hours. I don't want to
Yeah,
work 9 to 5. Also, even applying to jobs and getting turned down, I'm like, I feel like I know my worth,
yeah.
and I don't want to keep, um, getting turned down, and then make me feeling bad about myself. Like, what's wrong with me? Why didn't I get picked? Or that, just knowing your own worth, and figuring out that, what, I think I could do better, as an entrepreneur,
Yeah,
as my own boss. Maybe that's why all those other areas failed, is because, I was supposed to go on my own and build something up myself.
it's leading you to the path. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and the crazy thing about it is this. Let's be honest, the entrepreneurship is not easy, but the beautiful thing about it is there's no cap. There's
Yeah.
nobody moving the goalpost on you. Like the rules are the rules. You follow the
Yeah.
rules and you do your thing. When it comes to jobs, they have the luxury of saying like these are the requirements that we want for you to have. But then when you have the interview, they move the goalposts by saying you don't fit our team, or they
Hmm.
move the goalposts by saying we don't feel like you're a good fit. And it's like, but those requirements weren't even listed on this job description.
You're
And
right.
this is
Yeah.
what they do. And I just want to make sure people know that because they do that. And
Yeah.
let's not say, I mean, let's not get it twisted when it comes to you putting your culture, your heritage on the application. How different it'll
Hmm.
be if you put that you don't want to specify versus I'm black or I'm Hispanic or I'm Asian.
Right.
It
Right.
definitely plays a role.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. Yeah, exactly. Because like, I know you hold 3 degrees. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I hold one. I hold a degree, one degree, Bachelors in Arts, and I was like, okay, so I have education, I have experience. I'm bilingual. Um, I've never got fired from a job.
yep.
I know how to do a variety of things. I'm skilled at many things. I'm able to multitask and do and I'm friendly. I don't get in, I don't have any beef with anybody.
Yep.
So what is the problem? You know, what is the issue?
We'll never
Um,
know.
we'll never know, right? So I kind of think that's something from God, just telling me, hey, you're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to, do your own thing,
Hmm.
make something out of it. Um, and I think that's just kind of how I've been finding my own way in life.
Yeah, you have to find your path, and sometimes getting the door closed in your face uh helps you to get the wood to create your own table, and that's how I feel about it. Like it's
Mhm.
a struggle when you don't have the financial backing to feed your business. So sometimes you have to go to work or do certain things. Like that's where I'm at. Like I have to work
Mhm.
like small jobs or like try to figure out how to make more money to pour into my businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to know that it's not all, peaches and cream, but
Right.
the
Right.
luxury of it all is having the opportunity to choose what I want to do when I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that independence and that freedom is worth all the hardship for me.
Right.
Like, it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah. It certainly is. And I like what you were saying about the cap, the financial cap,
Yeah.
because um, you know, you start at any job that you want, and there's that financial cap. You can only start at so many dollars and then make so many dollars in 5-10 years.
Please.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what used to aggravate me was that, like, I had all these years of college, my degree, and how is somebody who's in high school, like, only had their high school diploma, making more than me? That was something that really aggravated me too. And something they don't tell you about when you go to college and get your degree is that how much trouble it is to find the employment, because by then you're either underqualified because they want you to have a master's or a PhD, or you're overqualified.
Overqualified. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're overqualified, and they don't want to pick you because you know too much.
They don't want to pay
or
you.
They don't want to pay you. Yeah. And also they figure that you will leave sooner because they know you have that education. They know your skills, and they know that you'll be moving on, and they don't want to take that risk in hiring you.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're saying all this to say that it's normal for you to hit a couple of like roadblocks and have that resistance, because I think a lot of kids think that once they get that degree, I'm degreed up, I'm gonna get all the jobs and I'm gonna make $100K a year and they're gonna hire me. And it's like, applying is a grind, getting hired is a grind, and being able to stay in your own mental capacity and be positive while you're in that position is a grind as well. Like, you have to choose happiness every day. It's not gonna just come to you. Like, you have to pay attention to like what's important and what the bottom line is for you when you go into these corporate America type positions.
Right.
I personally never been in corporate America. They never hired me. I actually never really had a professional interview, to be honest with you. When I worked at TCU, that was still a temp job, basically. So I don't even count it as professional, because, and this is somebody who, I have an associate's, a bachelor's, and a master's, right? And I'm still working temp job, if that makes any sense. That's why I was like, I know that I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur because nothing is opening.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And I couldn't believe it. I did everything before I graduated too. I had 2 internships I created, and it didn't work. So
yeah, it just didn't work.
Sometimes it doesn't work for a reason, y'all.
Yeah. And not to completely knock going to college, because I definitely, I loved
it was fun.
Education. Yes. It was fun learning. It was fun having that experience, so many different kids in college, so many, different backgrounds that maybe you're not exposed to at first.
Yeah.
And then just so much knowledge everywhere. I still definitely want my kids to go to college.
Yeah.
But, it's something, like you said, have a plan, have those finances in order. And also, something that we stress with our kids is, if you want to go to college, that's great. If you don't, that's great. But be sure you have a plan.
That's how I'm at. Yep.
Yeah. If you're not going to go to college, make sure you have a plan on what you want to do and how you're going to go about it. So we don't put that stress on our kids. Like, they have to, you have to. And then, like us, just for the title, just to say that you have a degree,
Yeah. I feel like every kid needs to experience leaving home. And I think that also going to college is a great thing. Like, I don't regret going at all, because like I said, I feel like God took me there to teach me the language and to be able to like coexist with so many different types of people. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't go to college. And I love meeting I love meeting people, and I love like also learning inside and outside of the classroom. It made me who I am a little bit. Like, it's a part of me that was birthed there. So
Mhm.
I think it can
Yeah.
be great if you want to go, but like you said, you need to have a plan because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, you want to take advantage of everything that you can have at school,
Mhm.
like the resources. So you got to do that
Yeah.
work before you go.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
that
And
plan.
make that plan.
Mhm.
Also, like you were saying, I was kind of like a first generation, to go to
Mhm.
to a university.
Yeah.
My mom had 1, maybe 2 years out of college, but I was the first to go to university out of my family. And like once I got there, I didn't know the way.
Right. Me either.
There was, there was so many things available to us, but I didn't know how to navigate the waters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have resources, and groups to go in, and they have everything in college. Just I didn't know how to navigate myself once I was there.
Yeah.
Like what to do, what to pay attention to, what not to do, or where to go. It was just a very difficult road for me to figure out.
Yeah, it's difficult
Um,
for a lot of people that go because I was first gen as well. And
mhm,
if I had to say anything to that, it's like number one, get involved on campus and go to your um student affairs professional.
mhm.
Find them, and they will tell you everything.
Yeah.
Student affairs, student development, and joining groups will
Mhm,
get you a lot further than just not being active on campus because that's
mhm.
how you find out things. And go make friends with the people in the financial aid office. Like bring them some coffee or some donuts or something. Like I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Like make
Uh-huh.
friends with them because they gonna keep you updated on what scholarships coming. And if you have a
Mhm.
relationship with them, they're gonna be like, oh, Kayla comes in, she talks to us. We're gonna shoot her this email about this grant that's coming up. Like you just gotta
Yeah.
be yourself, be personable, and get involved so that
And
you can navigate it. Because that's how you learn.
yeah, yeah. I didn't even know about that. I would have never thought, go be buddy buddy with the
Oh
financial
yeah.
people. I was even kind of I don't want to say scared, but kind of like, oh, gotta go to a financial aid office. Oh,
Yeah.
here's my work, please give me something, like
Yes.
kind of, like intimidated or, um, and I think that's just how it was, just in college. Like I joined a few groups, but I
Mhm.
kind of didn't know what I liked either. So I was half in the group and half not. I would go to some events and not, you know, um, just because I didn't have like once I got out of the biology, major, I
Mhm.
was kind of lost. I was like, what is it that I really want to do? And it took a long time figuring it out.
Mhm.
Um, it did. It was a lot of direction changes along the way.
And
You
that's
know.
normal. And that's what life
Hmm.
is about too. Being able to adjust and be okay with changing your mind.
Hmm.
It's your life. You have to take ownership of your life and your experience. And if you're not like actively participating in your experience, life is just gonna go without you. It's gonna
Hmm.
happen to you. So you have
Yeah.
to like put yourself in uncomfortable positions and be willing to adapt to whatever comes because that's life. We have
Hmm.
to be able to adjust easily.
Yeah.
So once you master that skill, life just like you be floating. And
Yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
I describe what I
Exactly.
do. I float because with entrepreneurship, it's so unpredictable. Like I can have a
Unpredictable.
great
Hmm.
day and then I have a horrible day. Like it's like this all the time. And so I'm just a floater at this point, and that's how I
Hmm.
live my life.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because you don't know what the next day brings.
You know?
But it's kind of exciting,
It's
at the
fun,
same
yeah,
time. Yeah,
for the
it's kind
right
of fun.
people.
It's exciting. Yeah. And hey, um, I don't. This is probably off topic, but I remember at a certain job. I won't say where, but a certain job when we had to go to the restroom, we had to get up and put a little like a magnet under your name that you were in the restroom.
Oh my
First,
god,
yeah, and then when you got back, you would take it down.
it's
Like
a
I
hall
mean that,
pass.
yeah, that's strict. That's strict. Grown-ups, and those people like that were way older than me, elderly ladies, and then there was younger ones, but they kept track of like how like who was going to the restroom and how long were you spending in there.
Wow.
And I look back on it and I was, thinking now, it's like, that is so crazy, but that was your, how you provided for your family, it was just stuff that you were like, okay, that's what I have to do.
Mm.
But to me, I mean, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Um,
insane.
you know, And yeah, just to think about like certain things you have to follow when you are in certain companies or whatnot, you know. And I think that's another reason why I enjoy just, you know, being on my own. Hey, I can go to the restaurant whenever I want. I can go out to
Mm-hmm.
eat whenever I want. You know, if I have to pick up my kids to take them to the doctor appointment, you know, I don't have to tell anybody or I don't have to ask permission, you know.
Yep. We
Yeah,
just
just having
rebels.
that
It's
own
okay.
control.
We just rebels, Kayla. That's all right though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably what it is too.
Well, I got a few more questions for you real quick.
Yeah.
Tell me what your 5 non-negotiables are when it comes to like friendships and relationships.
Um, Friendships and relationships. One thing is I like honesty. Like I like people to be honest, you know, kind of like once I start catching them in lies or fibs or, you know, or like a little bit of shadiness, you know, I'm like that's something that turns me off big time, you know. So
Mhm.
I think honesty, you know, being kind of transparent, you know, that is definitely um something that I keep, you know. Um I'm religious, you know, I'm Catholic actually. And I'm not gonna say that that I wouldn't be friends with anybody who doesn't believe in God or Jesus, you know, Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
Um, but I also feel like I'm more drawn to people who are because that's who I am as a person,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. So I mean, I'm friends with people who don't believe either, but you know, it's just nice to have people who feel the same way you do. You know. Um, Also, I don't know, 5 non-negotiables.
It's okay if you don't have
Just
5. It's okay if you don't.
yeah, I'm just like I don't like greedy people or arrogant people. You know, that's really not my style.
Mhm.
You know, it's just kind of like a turn off for me, you know. Also flashy people, you know, I'm not very flashy. I am who I am. I don't have to show my worth to anybody or prove myself to anybody, you know.
Right.
It's kind of like take it or leave it, you know.
Yeah.
So
I feel you on that.
yeah.
Well, since you mentioned, you answered my next question, but I'm gonna ask you it again because you might add
Okay.
something else to it. But like, what role does spirituality play in your life? Like, because I think that it's important to ask people this, just in
hmm
general, to see where they are, and just like so people can hear what you believe. Like, so what role does
hmm
spirituality play in your life?
it plays a major role. It has always, and it still does to this day. We, you know, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus Christ, you know, and it's a big thing in our household. You know, we teach
Hmm.
the kids how to pray, you know, we teach them their prayers, we go to church on Sundays, you know, and it also I think um it helps you to be a better person really. Just always thinking about God or always, you know, it does help you. Now, not saying that we don't get mad, we don't curse, or we don't, you know, get angry
We all
at
do that.
yeah, we all do that. Yeah, yeah. But there's kind of a, you know, it stays in the back of your mind that this is what you believe and this is how you should act towards people. You know,
Hmm.
just be kind. You know, try to be understanding. You know, or just let it go. I think that's really the hardest part. You know, someone does something bad to you, or you know, cuts you off on the road. You know, just let it go. You know.
Yes. We got this thing called pettiness, and
Yeah.
the pettiness is inside of me. I know I work really hard to keep it down. I really do.
hmm
But
Yeah.
we are human too. So a lot of times people it comes out and you just have to be
Yeah.
like, it's not how I'm supposed to act. That's not my standards.
hmm
So I'm happy that you're like starting early with your children because
Yeah.
embedding those morals and values in them is going to
hmm
definitely remind them when they're in their petty moments because we all have them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you be like,
Definitely.
I ain't gonna say nothing. Leave me alone. Let me be quiet.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I mean, and it is hard in society nowadays, but you know, we made it, my husband, we're both Catholic, you know.
Hmm.
We made it a point to, if we go to restaurants, we're gonna say our prayers before meals, just like we
Yeah.
do it at home, you know. And I think that's something that we don't see anymore. I haven't, maybe a few that I've seen, out in restaurants, saying your prayers like you do at home before you eat. We made that just something that we do, and we can't eat without doing it. So, it's already become a habit, And my husband, I was a major churchgoer, like every Saturday at youth group, Sundays at church, all the events. I grew up like that. My husband didn't. He was Catholic, but he just had a different childhood experience than I did. He grew up with a different family than I did. So he was Catholic, but he didn't go to church all the time. He just every once in a while, or yes, he believed in God, but it just we were really different with that, about that when we got married. And so he's already like, we'll be out at a restaurant. He's like, okay, kids, just do prayers, like he's already, that's just something that we started doing together, and now it's become a part of him,
Yeah.
So
That's beautiful. And I will say this too. A lot of people feel like, if they don't go to church every Sunday, that, it's going to be a problem or something like that. But I think that, if you're a person who goes to church every Sunday, that's great. Or if you make it a part of your every week, every day situation, that's great. But you just don't want to negate or neglect the relationship, because like the church, you are the church in real life. Like when you leave the church, you're supposed to go out and they should see the church in you. Right.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I just want to like say this for the kids, because I know a lot of them, when they get to college, they're not supposed to go to church all the time. Like it's a part of being a rebel and being on your own, right?
Yeah.
But then you end up getting drawn right back to where you were.
Yes.
Like God gonna call you right on back.
I even went through that. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
me too.
Went to college. You still believe, but I want to sleep in. I'm tired, or mom's not here to push me, or
that's real. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it is. But like you say, you grow up and it comes right back. You're like, oh, I want to go. Because I'm past that little phase where I was just rebelling and looking for whatever. Now I want to go back. That's how I grew up, and that's what I love, and that's what I remember, and that's what I know. And then you start, you have a family, you start teaching them, and I think that's very important too,
Yeah. Don't neglect the relationship though. Like I feel like, God will demand your attention too, and that you don't want.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to demand your attention, but I just always like to stress that people should focus on building a relationship.
Yes.
Your spirituality with God, like, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, organized religion has its things too, but the relationship is the most important thing.
Yeah, and I think for people that's probably the hardest thing.
Yeah,
is building that relationship. Yeah,
intimate.
Yeah, it is intimate. And to be thankful every day, to do your prayers every day, and I think that intimate part is probably what people get stuck on, or it gets hard, instead of just getting in that routine of going every Sunday, and then leaving God in the church. No, that's not what you're supposed to do.
And that's my point exactly, because I'm like, man, that you're going to church out of routine at that point. And I'm like, that's not what it's supposed to be about. You're supposed to be building a relationship with God and or whoever you believe in. And just making sure that you're trying to exude those principles and those standards out in the world, so that you can draw people too, so they can see God in you. And
you're
that's just what
that
I
beacon
believe.
of light.
Yes, and I think a lot of people, especially when you go to college or when you're younger, you tend to rebel because you don't have your parents had you in church Monday through Sunday. Like I was in church almost every day. I cleaned the church, like it was that bad, But it's a part of your morals and values. Like that's just who you are, and like you have to learn Him for yourself, because the God that your parents taught you, it's not going to become very real until you start on that path of seeking Him yourself. It's different when you seek Him yourself.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, you
you're
learn
right.
for yourself, you get stronger, and it's going to get better. But I just had to make sure I said that.
Yeah, no, right. And I do. If we see younger audience watching this, like I wish I would have focused more on him
Mm-hmm.
when I was going to school instead of focusing on me going
Yeah.
to school, making myself popular, making doing whatever everybody else was doing, or just doing whatever would get me to be likable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too much focus on me instead of focusing on him.
Yeah. And he will call
Yeah.
you, demand that attention, and you get
Yeah.
yourself together.
Yeah.
Well, my last question for you is, if you knew then what you know now, would you change anything?
Oh man. First of all, I think there would be so many things I would change. Like
Mhm.
so many things. Like growing up, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that, or I could have done that better, or I should have stayed way clear from that. But and probably a lot more of those latter ones. But I do also believe that your journey is what brings you here. Me to this moment. And I kind of think, oh well, if I would have gone down that route, would I have my children? Would I have met my husband?
Yeah.
Would I be here? So it's kind of hard. There's a lot of things that I think that I would have definitely have changed, but it is the journey that brings you to where you are now. So
Absolutely.
and you learn a lot from those experiences.
Absolutely.
Grow as a person. Yeah.
You definitely do. You definitely do.
Yeah.
Man. Well, Kayla, I thank you so much for coming on. Like, I'm very, very proud of you for real. Like, we've known each other for a
Thank
long
you.
time,
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah.
So it's amazing to see like you all as a grown woman, like you're a mother, you're a wife. Like, to me, those are the two biggest jobs ever to me.
Oh
Like,
yeah, definitely.
to do that and be able to like raise your children and still
Mhm.
be you. Like, that is a blessing. Because a lot of people
There's
lose themselves.
there's no off switch on either of
Yeah.
those roles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I just want to like really give you your flowers and let you know how proud I am of you for real.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I thank you for coming on. And I know people are going to be inspired by your story and like just see themselves in you because you represent a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Hopefully. And no, thank you. I'm definitely proud of you for all your accomplishments also, and for what you're doing right now. I think that's awesome.
Thank
And
you.
you just spreading all that knowledge and wisdom, by all the people that you decide to show, or that you have them come onto your show, and I think that's amazing. So
Thank you so much. Thank you.